Yeah, so they just run until we start the meeting. And thank you.
Are you looking forward to it or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's wait till about 6:03 and then we'll get started. My assistant Topo Gijo back here.
It's me, Kamala.
So we've got David's here. Instead of staying home, he came in here to participate. David Liscombe. Okay, Jackie, I think it's 6:03. If you want to get started, we can get the meeting going.
Okay, unmuted. Hello and welcome to the annual membership meeting of the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence. I now call this meeting to order. For those of you who don't know, I'm Jackie Sauter. I'm Vice President of our Board of Directors. Our President, Brian Marcolini, is unfortunately unable to be here today because of a medical issue in his family. Brian sends his regrets and has asked me to chair this meeting in his absence. To begin with, I ask our Director, Howie Ganter, to lead us in the association prayer.
Okay. Dear God, every person has a purpose. And while your eternal plan is not known, we do reaffirm our role in helping those in need. It is our prayer that we will be ever mindful of our responsibility as parents families, and friends of people with developmental disabilities and special needs, helping them to a full measure of precious life you have given. Guide your association so that it may be strong and selfless, and bestow your blessings on all of us. Amen.
Amen.
I've been having trouble with mute and unmute. I think I'm unmuted now. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm just going to say a few words. It has certainly been quite a year, and it's not quite over yet. It seems like every day we have new uncertainties and challenges for everyone, but perhaps especially for those of us who care for and love people with disabilities. We have a contentious and still undecided presidential election, the outcome of which may have an impact on healthcare and the people we serve. News of rising COVID infection rates, announcements from the state that because of budget shortfalls, our funding is being cut or may be cut more, and new regulations are becoming more complex. But despite it all, or maybe because of it all, I think this organization and the people who make it work keep rising to higher standards of excellence. You keep doing more, and we keep doing it better. So on behalf of the board of directors, I want to personally thank the amazing staff of the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence for all you've done, for all you keep doing every day to care and support the people we serve. No words can adequately express the gratitude we feel for the work that you do, but we want you to know that you are truly heroes. Thank you. This is our annual meeting, so at this time, I call on Joanne Rode for presentation of our slate of officers and directors.
Hi, everybody. Our recommended slate of officers for 2021 would be President Jackie Sauter, Vice President Jennifer Van Reenen, Secretary Treasurer Joanne Rode, Directors for 21-23 term Karen Crowley, Peter Halsensky, I'm sorry, Peter, I always butcher your name, Joanne Rode, Barbara Rozier. Nominating committee would be Joanne Rode, Chairperson, Stephanie Campbell, and David Liscombe.
Do I have a motion in favor of this proposed slate? It looks like
David Liscombe just made the motion.
I'll make the motion, Jackie.
Thank you, David. And is there a second? Someone raise their hands for a second. Is that Joanne?
Yep.
I can't see anybody. My people disappeared.
My people disappeared too. So if somebody on the board, they're back now. Somebody on the board could second the resolution supporting the slate of officers, that would be great.
Go ahead, Peter.
Colby, can you unmute everybody temporarily?
I think I saw Pat Campanella try to make a second. She raised her hand. Okay, Pat, thank you very much. So the board needs to vote now, and rather than deal with mute and unmute, maybe everybody's on the board could raise their hands. Try to see everybody here.
You can use the chat box too if you want.
Yeah,
I'm unmuted. Aye.
okay.
This is Ann Spees. Yes, aye.
Aye.
They're not talking to me yet.
Are there any opposed?
I did, but
Is there any opposed to the slate of officers? And
they're doing office.
I think that means there is not, therefore the motion carries. Thank you. This is a little awkward, but we'll figure it out. We're doing
Yep.
pretty well.
Okay, Colby, you can mute everybody again. Okay. So first of all, I'd like to thank the board for their support and guidance during the year. It has been, as Jackie said, a very unusual year with many challenges, and our board has stayed active and involved in all the issues we have faced. I would like to acknowledge two of our board members specifically. First and foremost, I want to thank Jerry Forshaw for 5 years of service. Her professional background and being a family member was a double bonus for us. We appreciated her input and guidance and wish her well. A plaque was sent to Jerry and a coin as a token of appreciation. I also want to acknowledge Brian Marcolini for his 2 years of service as the president. He's always been responsive to the organization, to our needs. He served definitely during some challenging times. We appreciate, despite a lot of the obligations that he's had, both with his family and his work, that he made time for us. We also sent Brian a plaque and a coin. I also want to thank Joanne Rode for serving several years as a primary for the Board of Governor. She's made many trips to Albany and Saratoga. I know Saratoga was tough, to listen on various subjects and vote accordingly. And also Pat Campanella for being the alternate and is now our new primary. Also want to acknowledge Jen Lunan for stepping up to the plate, and she's going to be our new alternate. Again, I want to thank all board members for all their contributions to the organization through committee work, as well as participating in board meetings and providing your guidance and direction. So I'm going to start and end my presentation with a quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. And that's what it's felt like this year. It's been a roller coaster year. But first and foremost, I want to thank all our staff, from the DSPs who provided support throughout this pandemic, to those who support us in maintenance, our administrative staff, our drivers, and our varied support staff who've ensured operations have continued effectively, and the needs of those in our varied services have had their needs met and are in the safest manner possible. Our lives changed forever, I believe, on March 17th, when we were notified our day services would be shutting down. We've had daily updates with the ARC of New York, OPWDD, and other regulatory bodies as we reacted to the changing environment. Executive orders and all sorts of guidance also were provided. We had to develop new policies and procedures, put safety protocols in place, develop isolation units, and ensure the needs of those we support were met and were done in a safe manner. Maintaining operations and ensuring we had adequate resources was high priority. Webinars became a daily event, and at times there were multiple webinars on fiscal considerations, safety protocols, what was needed for PPE, and reporting procedures. We had to deploy day services staff to the residential department, maintain our manufacturing facility and our federal contracts, and ensure clinical needs were being met through our Article 16 clinics. We had to furlough a number of staff that consisted mostly of transportation, and remote work became the new norm. Limitations on who could work in sites, along with restrictions on visitation and community outings, were put in place. Essentially, for 4 months, most of our residents were limited to medical appointments only, with no visitation. Despite all of that, they tolerated those restrictions very well, and we had minimal issues in either one of our counties. Zoom and Microsoft Teams have become the new norm for communicating and holding team meetings. Training is also being done remotely using Elias, our electronic training program. Although we've been fortunate with only 3 staff, and I'll say 4, we just had a federal contract employee test positive. We've had not one person we support so far that has had a positive testing. And I think that's a direct result of the dedication of our staff, both in following safety protocols, as well as being vigilant in the community. Our retainer day payments ended on July 21st, 2020, and we've been operating at about 73% DAHAB, 72% in community pre-book, and 92% in our site-based programs. The reduction in those attending has impacted us significantly fiscally. In addition to this, OPW has eliminated our vacancy adjustment for residential openings, is limiting retainer days for hospitalization, and only paying 50% of the 14 days allowed, and is limiting therapeutic leave days and paying us at 50% of our rate. They've also put in place a 20% withhold on services paid with 100% state dollars. Annualized, these cuts impact us about $2 million. The state just put out the Department of Budget just put out a notice that they're asking state departments to look at a 5% reduction. Hopefully that's good news, and that maybe that's the only thing we're going to be hit with in the next year. We were expecting much more than that, so we're hoping that that's an indicator of the future. So what's the new normal going to look like? I think it's going to be smaller site-based programs, more flexibility in how programs are designed, continued increase in self-direction, a smaller transportation department, more services using the residents as a base, and possible day and residential being combined in one rate, an increase in contracts for services and products in our vocational facility, increased use of Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Relias for our training, less in-class staff training and more online as noted, continued challenges in funding, more consolidation of management of our programs, looking at right sizing our residential sites, combining 2 and 3 bed sites, and moving into lease locations so we can fill up some of our vacancies and also at the same time provide single bedrooms to the people we support. Looking at what other services are out there that we can provide, and looking at continued diversification of services, supports, and opportunities, as well as collaboration with other organizations, possible management agreements, and or mergers. So accomplishments this year, I think one of the bigger ones was the major construction project at 420 Gaffney. It's been huge and it's progressing well, and I'll talk a little bit about that when I talk about the foundation. We've implemented a strategic plan that's recently been revised that's going to prepare us for the future. We've continued public transit during this pandemic in St. Lawrence County. We've maintained being the prime contractor for the border stations and continue to be active on our federal contracts. We've continued to develop new product lines for our manufacturing facilities. We've reacted extremely well to the pandemic to keep people safe and those that we support. Keep staff safe and the people we support, excuse me. We maintained our CQL accreditation with results for continued certification. And we continue with improved fleet management and infrastructure updates throughout the organization. As noted, the strategic plan was updated under the direction of Tim Welpe, and we'll continue to work toward ensuring we are meeting our mission in this new and changing environment. I wish to thank everyone for their support, and I'm hopeful of vaccines in the near future, and we can get back to some form of normalcy. We at the ARC of Jefferson St. Lawrence are not complacent. We are innovators, responsive to change, and always looking to improve our supports and services. It continues to be an honor to be associated with such a dedicated group of employees and a supportive board. Those we support have been resilient and responded well despite all the challenges they've had to face. I hope you enjoy the remainder of the program and the recognitions. And I'll end with another FDR quote. We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there's a better life, a better world beyond the horizon. So that concludes my report. And now I'm going to report for Michelle Carpenter, who was not able to make tonight's meeting, to talk about the Jefferson Foundation. So the major accomplishment, as I noted, I think for the foundation has been the construction project at Gaffney. It's a $10.3 million project, and that does include fixtures and furniture that we need to put in at some point. Michelle continues to do a great job of managing the contracts there, having regular meetings with the construction management group, setting up and meeting with teams on what we're going to do inside in regards to color, set up the snoozle rooms, signage, all those things. She's done a great job. Also, we've been very successful in our raising of our goal of $3 million. We're closing in on that. We're close to 2.8 million. With the $200,000 gap we're trying to close, we are reaching out to several community members who we have not approached yet. and also reaching out to those people on our list who did not respond before to try to close that $200,000 gap. I think that's a major accomplishment just to get to that 3 million period, but especially during COVID, to accomplish that is a huge feather in Michelle's cap. We're slated to have that project completed by August 1st. I'm going to go through the building tomorrow. Most of the sheetrock has been completed. It is near completion. The roof's near completion. Heating systems, plumbing's all being put in. We did have a little bit of a snafu on our back parking lot this week when we had our meeting yesterday. The ground's not sufficient for the paving, so we're going to have to dig it up down to 2 to 3 feet to bedrock and then put stone. So it's going to be additional expense. But we found areas to cut costs in other spots so that it's going to be a break even pretty much. And they continue to do well on their fundraising. Had a successful golf tournament. It was done virtually. Basically, teams went out on their own, and that with sponsorships ended up being over $30,000 raised. The scuttle was very successful too. That was done virtually, and our appeal is going out at this point in time. So Foundation's done a good job of supporting us. They bought some equipment during this time too for the preschool, and we're hopeful for the future. So Michelle, I'll turn it over to you to do a report on the St. Lawrence Foundation.
Okay, thanks, Howie. I'm Michelle Quinnell-Gale, the director of the St. Lawrence Foundation. Over the past few years, the Foundation of St. Lawrence Nice-Arc has become actively engaged as a separate nonprofit with a mission to assist the people supported by the Arc Jefferson St. Lawrence. During this time, we have developed an active board of directors that meets regularly to consider grant requests and assist with fundraising efforts. Thanks to the work of this dedicated team, the Foundation holds annual events to encourage contributions and increase awareness of the work done by the agency. Unfortunately, 2 of our annual fundraisers were canceled this year in an effort to keep people safe during the pandemic. The Autism Awareness Walk was held, though, in a virtual format, of course, and we were pleased to see a net profit of about $12,000 due to excellent sponsorship support. I'm sure we all look forward to a time when the brouhahas and the art mixer that celebrates the art showcase may be held in person again. One of the most significant efforts taken on by the Foundation Board in 2020 was moving the investments to Alesco Advisors. We look forward to having their guidance to enhance our assets and are happy to see cost savings by making this move. Thanks to contributions from generous supporters, the Foundation of St. Lawrence Nice-Arc has been able to fund meaningful opportunities within the past 2 years. One of those endeavors was the installation of fully accessible swing sets at the Canton and Norwood Day sites. The group also assisted a person moving into a residence to purchase basic essentials that would not have been able to be acquired in any other way. This gift helped the person to feel welcome and comfortable as he transitioned into his new safe environment. These are just a few of the grants given by the Foundation. We appreciate all of our donors and all that they have done to make all of the dreams come true for so many people that we support. Next up, we're happy to share with you a video that honors all of the people supported by Career Connections and Career Opportunities. These are all folks who have hit a longevity milestone this year. That presentation is now.
Okay, Tracy, go ahead and do your presentation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Hutton. I'm the Contracts and Business Development Administrator. I oversee contracts in St. Lawrence County, and I do business development for St. Lawrence County and Jefferson County, including the UPS stores. So I have the opportunity to talk about our Joslyn Award winner this year. Just so you know, each year, New York State Industries for the Disabled, it recognizes workers with disabilities who consistently perform their duties with impressive performance. And NYSID is a not-for-profit organization with over 40 years of experience advancing employment for New Yorkers with disabilities. NYSID empowers people with disabilities through the Approved Preferred Source Job Opportunities Program, and it's provided by statewide membership. This year, we're very thrilled to announce that Jerry Charlo of Messina was awarded the distinction of the William B. Joslyn Outstanding Performer from NYSID. And Jerry works on the NYSID Preferred Source contracts as a custodial crew member with the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence. And in his 4 years of employment with NYSID, Jerry has worked on a variety of assignments, including the Messina border on Tripodi Road and the New York Power Authority Guest House. And he is one of 51 New Yorkers to receive this honor. They're so proud of Jerry and applaud his dedication. And I wish he could be seeing this, and I think we're going to, show him the recording. We did have a pizza party for him to recognize him, and he was also presented a $500 check from NYSID. So he was very thrilled, but he knew that he would have to turn over the check to his wife. So Jerry is 71 years old and still works on our contracts, and he's been married. I think he's been married 40 years or a little over 40 years. So congratulations, Jerry.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next recognition is going to be, oh, excuse me, go ahead. Thanks, Colby. Wasn't following the script there. All right, so our next recognition is our Community Spirit Award. I'm pleased to announce this year's recipient of the Community Spirit Award, which was established in St. Lawrence County to formally acknowledge the extraordinary efforts of community members who exemplify the essence of an integrated community. Tonight, we honor a person who has proven commitment to offering valuable experiences for people we support through volunteerism and participating with the St. Lawrence County's Office for the Aging. In her role as a nutrition services assistant, Elaine Ames shows true commitment to her work and extreme dedication to providing meals to the seniors at the Canton Nutrition Center. From day one, she's welcomed participants in the community pre-book program by making everyone feel like a valued member of the team. Elaine takes the time to teach each person how to make and package meals with care and patience. Her support and advice has helped the group learn valuable work skills. We appreciate Elaine's efforts to make the community a better place for everyone and are pleased to present her with the 2020 Community Spirit Award. Congratulations, Elaine.
Howie, Elaine is on if
Oh,
she'd
okay.
like to say something.
Colby, can you unmute Elaine if she wants to speak?
It just may take a minute to find. It's under D. Durant.
I have asked her to unmute. Something should have popped up on her screen.
So Elaine, if you want to just click on that. Thank you.
I did.
Okay, you're set. You can talk.
Well, I want to thank everybody for that award. It was just too overwhelming for me, and it still is. Everybody else that helped me do this, they deserve appreciation too. So, like I said, I enjoy my job thoroughly, and I love helping people. And thank you again for the award. I very much so appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so our next recognition is the Stephen Robarge Employee of the Year Award in Jefferson. Stephen Robarge was a long-term employee who started as a DSP, then worked as an assistant manager, a resident manager, and was a residential coordinator when he passed in 2011 from cancer. He was an exemplary employee who was practicing person-centered planning long before it became the norm. Stephen was a role model to many employees and provided excellent care for those we support. He was one of the ones that was responsible for setting up our program model now that we use for funerals and helped set up and establish a relationship with one of our local funeral homes, the Clarkos, that we now use that model for all of our funerals, and it's worked out very well. Candidates for this award must be a role model who shows superior work ethic and a long-standing commitment to people supported by the organization. Staff members selected for this award are dedicated to making the Jefferson County portion of the ARC a better place to work. This year's nominees for the 2020 Stephen Robarge Award were Michelle Carpenter from the JRC Foundation, Michelle Leo from Staff Development, Beth Morales, who's our administrator on duty and also acts as a residential coordinator, and Dawn Pelkey, our qualified intellectual developmental disability professional. I'm happy to announce that Dawn Pelkey was selected for this year's award from this esteemed list of employees. Dawn's been with the agency for over 22 years. As a QIDP, she's responsible for writing staff action plans as well as completing all the other required documents for the people we support. She's an invaluable asset to Sherry Wilson, Director of Program Supports and Services, and we can rely on Dawn to ensure that the QIDPs in Jefferson complete assigned duties accurately in a timely manner. As co-chair of the Guardianship Committee in Jefferson, Dawn has been instrumental in coordinating transition from 2 committees into 1. She sets up an annual guardianship Christmas party and takes upon herself to purchase gifts for each person to put under the tree so that they may be opened during the party. Dawn has many family members and people we support who contact her when concerns arise. She will do her utmost to resolve an issue or assist as necessary. She advocates tirelessly for the people we support so that they may enrich their lives. It is for these reasons that Dawn is well deserving of the Stephen Robarge Award for 2020. Okay, Dawn's on. Can you unmute Dawn if she wants to say a few words, Colby?
Hi, thank you. I really appreciate even being nominated. So, and I don't like to talk in front of people.
You're not in front of people.
I can still see everyone.
All
But
right,
thank
Dawn.
you.
Thank you.
You're
Dawn,
welcome,
Dawn, you can stop up here tomorrow. I have your check, okay? So with this award, each employee gets $500, both the Stephen Robards Award and the David Brassbridge Award. So congratulations again. So our next recognition is the David Brassbridge Staff Member of the Year Award. Starting last year, the St. Lawrence Staff Member of the Year Award was named in honor of David Brassbridge. David devoted over 39 years to the agency as a direct support professional who spent his entire career supporting people at the residence on DeVille Street in Ogdensburg. Dave was the first Employee of the Year for St. Lawrence NYSARC in 1990, and we remember his contributions through this award. Dave was also very supportive of me when I started up there. He was just a friendly guy, easygoing, and I appreciated his support. Staff members that qualify for this award will have shown dedication to enhancing the agency's core values of pride. This stands for offering person-centered services, being responsive to people's needs, supporting inclusive options, treating others with dignity, and achieving excellence. The nominees for the 2020 David Brassbridge Staff Member of the Year Award were Lori Blyce from Residential Services, Patricia Jo Green from Residential Services, Donald Labarge from Community Pre-Voc Services, Tammy Lechner from Residential Services, Regina Parsons from Residential Services, and Heidi Stalker from Residential Services. Please join me in congratulating Heidi Stalker for being selected for this award. Heidi started working at the agency 18 years ago in the residential department. During that time, she quickly became instrumental to the team. Thanks to her excellent organizational skills, Heidi's kept track of schedules, staff paperwork, and house paperwork. She did so well in this role that the team added handling finances and SNAP renewals to her list of responsibilities. She's very loyal to residential services and the people who live in those sites. In fact, she would often fill in as a DSP in the evening and on weekends after completing a day at the office. 2 years ago, she became a resident manager of the 2 homes in Herman. Due to her varied experience and knowledge base, Heidi was able to easily transition into her new position. The people who live at these houses are lucky to have her involved in their lives. Thank you, Heidi, for all that you do. We appreciate what you do for the organization and for the people that we support. And Heidi's on too, I believe. I think Heidi's on.
Hi.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Heidi.
I just want to say thank you. I mean, it was just an honor to even be nominated. And I couldn't do my job without the staff that I have and the support team I have in the office. It really is an incredible place to be.
Thanks, Heidi. And thank you for being nice to me too when I came up there. Okay, so our next recognition is the Self-Advocate of the Year Award for St. Lawrence. Self-advocates are the center of all we do in this organization, and we're proud to honor those achievements at our annual meetings. This year, we had excellent nominees from both counties, and I'll announce the 4 people submitted in St. Lawrence. Gary Davis, Ed Duray, Jennifer Hartman, and Michelle Kerr. This year's recipient is Ed Duray of Canton. Ed is a textbook example of what a self-advocate should strive to be. He thinks carefully about issues that matter to his friends and his life. Ed routinely advocates for himself and others so that everyone has the opportunity to reach their goals. Communication is a strong suit of Ed's, and he's reached out to decision makers from the governor's office to the management team. And often to me, Ed would call down and make appointments to come and visit me on a regular basis in the office pre-COVID. And now he just emails me. Ed's voiced his opinion on a variety of topics, from DSP wages to staff retention and recruitment efforts. Prior to COVID, Ed participated in the day program at Commerce Lane. He's routinely greeting staff and visitors upon their arrival to the building. He's involved as a support instructor during staff orientation and uses the teaching opportunity to sensitize staff by sharing his life experiences. Ed's an active member of several agency committees, including the chapter's CARE, Council on Advocacy and Resource Equality Group, and plans to run for president soon. He's also part of the Life Plan family group for the CARE coordination. We want to thank Ed for being a terrific agency leader and for making an impact on the arc of Jefferson St. Lawrence.
Ed advocates about concerns on behalf of himself and others who may not be able to advocate for themselves. He regularly shares his thoughts with CEO Howie Ganter and attends virtual town hall meetings to keep informed. Recently, Ed has sent letters to New York State Governor Cuomo advocating for people with disabilities to ensure services remain intact. Ed is involved as a support instructor during the staff orientation program. He teaches a segment on his life experiences living with cerebral palsy. He also teaches a session entitled Self-Advocates, in which he provides examples of how DSPs have supported him to achieve goals in his life. As an active member of the agency's CARE group, the Council on Advocacy and Resource Equality, Ed researches issues related to obstacles people with disabilities encounter and brings them to the group for further discussion. This includes internal as well as community and societal issues. Ed has become a forerunner in assisting to establish new policies and procedures that promote better quality of services for people supported by the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence. Ed served as a contributing member of the agency's strategic planning subcommittee and provided valued insight during discussions related to person-centered planning, staff retention and recognition, training needs for staff, and people supported. He has brought awareness to administration regarding the efforts of open DSP positions on the people we support and supports efforts for staff to receive more recognition for their work. He has used Special Olympic events as a forum to educate the volunteer members of the public about disabilities. Ed has assisted with the coaching duties of 3 area basketball teams so that his peers have opportunity to participate in Olympic basketball tournaments. He leads with support and encouragement, which brings out the best in the athletes. Ed has taken even an active role in interviewing for potential agency staff and helped choose the last staff member hired for his home. Ed has donated to local charities such as the Humane Society, American Cancer Society, and Muscular Dystrophy Association, among others. Through his involvement, other peers and agency staff have followed his lead and become involved in community fundraisers. The concept of self-determination is very personal to Ed, and he stresses the importance of everyone making their own decisions. Ed states, "Sometimes we all need support from people in our lives, but in the end, it is our decision to be made for our lives."
Congratulations, Ed. You want to say a few words? The only time I've seen Ed be speechless is when I handed him a $300 check. He was on here earlier. Is he still on? I don't see it. Is that on there?
He just needs to unmute himself, Howie.
Okay. Ed, you got to unmute yourself.
So, thank you.
Can they hear you?
Yep, we can hear you.
You might have to talk a little louder.
Thank you, Howie. I put that job application in today, by the way.
Okay. We'll be looking for it.
I appreciate it very much. And my group from last night wants you to send them the picture of the award to put on their board at, where was it?
Life plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And send them this bit, everything on me, because I think they need more help in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Howie.
We appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you.
I bet.
Very much, Ed. You want me to mute you again? I think we're talking.
No.
He's not talking to you?
No.
There. Sorry. So the next award is our Kathy Hill Individual of the Year Award. It's for our Self-Advocate of the Year here in Jefferson. I see Donna and Jim are on. Kathy Hill was a legacy at the organization. Her mother was a founding member and a board member. And Kathy was well aware of the influence that Mom had and that Kathy had as a result of Mom. And she used it to her advantage. She loved to go shopping. She loved to go out in the community, and she especially liked the men that worked in the programs. She was quite the jokester and loved to have a party. We miss her smile, and her family supports this. Jim and Donna and the rest of the family support this recognition in honor of Kathy as we recognize our Self-Advocate of the Year. So this award was established to honor people who enjoy helping others, participate in their life choices, and advocate for themselves and their peers. The nominees for the Kathy Hill Award for Jefferson County for this year were Matthew Frost, Deborah or Debbie Mullen, Dora Owens, and David Snyder. We are pleased to honor Dora Owens, who resides at our 803 Holcomb Street site, with the 2020 award. Dora deserves to be recognized as the Individual of the Year because she has taken her self-advocacy to a new level over the past several months. She not only reads notes that are written about her and her online recording keeping system, but she also writes her own notes almost every day. This has assisted staff members to better meet Dora's needs. Anytime the agency asks for volunteers for committees or be on a panel, Dora is always willing to help and is one of the first ones to offer that. She is now involved in many committees in the organization and participates in an interview process for new hires, as well as current staff seeking management positions. Dora has been a member of the North Country Self Advocates since the 1990s, and she's taught her peers to speak up when they have a concern. She's a good friend and a housemate, and who cares for others and enjoys helping people to feel comfortable in their surroundings. We can congratulate Dora for being selected as Individual of the Year for Jefferson County. And Dora, just to let you know, I believe you're on. I have your check and I'll drop that off tomorrow also.
Dora stepped up advocacy efforts to a new level during the past year. She advocated to access her own records in TheraP, the agency's electronic record-keeping system. She not only reads messages daily, but also writes her own notes to take true ownership of her life. She takes pride in sharing her viewpoint on how her daily activities transpire. Staff can support Dora even better by knowing her opinion about doctor appointments and other activities of her choosing. Dora makes sure people know the issues that are important to her well-being. Further showing her independence, Dora navigates throughout the community using paratransit and loves the freedom to travel and take care of her own needs. Dora has been a member of the North Country Self Advocates group for more than 20 years and has taught peers about the ways to effectively speak up for their rights. Her leadership has helped many people grow and make positive changes. She has participated in staff interviews and is a member of the agency's Human Rights Committee. Dora even continues to meet with the group via Zoom during the pandemic. As a caring friend, Dora has helped her housemate cope with grief and loss over the years, which has helped her heal during these difficult times. Dora is the first person to welcome someone new into the residence and considers it her responsibility to help a housemate get adjusted and feel at home in their new surroundings. Dora truly is an awesome person who is deserving of this recognition because she is a caring human who has never allowed a disability to stand in the way of reaching her life goals.
So let me see if I can find if Dora's on here. If Dora's on the phone or whatever, if somebody could go in the chat box and tell us your number. Oh, she might not be able to make it. I'd like to offer Jim. Do you want to say a few words about the Kathy Hill Award? And Kathy, if you could unmute Donna on there. Colby, can you see them waving?
Okay, we did.
You can say it.
There you go.
Well, we just want people to know how wonderful we think everyone is at the ARC, and that these little awards mean so much to the recipients. And we know that the staff is careful about making choices and keeping track of all these people and doing all these things. And we both love to see all the self-advocacy that has come out of the wonderful things that are done with all of the clients that you serve. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. to participate this way and keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ally.
Keep Jim under control, Donna.
She's like my mother. You know, so what?
Yeah.
Okay, that concludes our presentations. I'd like to open it back up for Jackie for our benediction and our adjournment.
Thank you, Howie. I want to congratulate all of our award winners this evening. This has been such a special event to be able to be together via Zoom and phone to celebrate so many inspiring achievements. So thank you all very much. And to close the meeting, I want to offer this short benediction adapted from the writing of Amy Zucker Morgenstern. In every person we meet, we find an opportunity to go further along the path of transformation that is our purpose in life. Every one of them is our teacher. May the days ahead bring you many opportunities to grow, to learn, to serve, to love. Opportunities that help you become the person you want to be, and may you welcome them with joy. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for a wonderful meeting, and some point, hopefully next year, we'll be able to do this meeting together in person. In the meantime, stay safe and keep doing all the wonderful work and support that you all do for the people we care about and love. So thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you.